Welcome back to Impact on Tuesday morning. Russell Thomas with my guest Joan Furber from the Golden Years Society. Good morning.
Good morning.
Man, when I think of, you and I go way back to, I don't know if you remember this, but we worked together on the seniors games.
We did. We had lots of fun then.
My goodness, that's
2003.
That's over 10 years ago. Where does the time go?
I don't know.
Wow.
Doesn't seem that long ago though, does it?
Joan has always been somebody who's keenly volunteering with the community and particularly with seniors. But I'm interested to know, first of all, when did you come to Fort McMurray?
I came to Fort McMurray when I was 13 years old in 1966.
Oh, my heavens.
So I grew up here.
Wow. Father worked in
My
oil
dad
sands?
came here to work at the oil sands, yeah.
Great Canadian Oil Sands?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And where had you come from?
I came from New Brunswick originally.
You have no accent anymore.
No, I've been here for so long that this is definitely home.
So 13, you grew up, you went to obviously high school here.
We went to Peter Pond.
Okay, now for the people that have no idea what you're talking about, where was Peter Pond High School?
Peter Pond High School is probably exactly where Safeway's gas bar is.
Really? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. I was thinking Superstore.
No, that was St. John's. That's where the Catholic kids went.
Oh, wow. What was Fort McMurray like in 1966? What do you remember?
Pretty small. Franklin Avenue was just a dirt trail.
Really? Mm-hmm. There was no pavement on Franklin Avenue?
No pavement, and there was Highway 63 was just being built.
So trips down south to Edmonton would have been an adventure.
They didn't happen.
Really?
No, you stayed here for long stretches.
How did you get here in the first place?
We got here by putting our car on the train in New Brunswick. We got on the train, and it took us a week to get to Edmonton. And then my dad met us in Edmonton and offloaded the car, and we took probably a day and a half to get to Fort McMurray on the highway. Got lost a few times in farmers' fields because the road was just under construction, so it would say detour here, detour there. You never knew where you were going because there was no set road. But
the few people that I've had on the show that remember Fort McMurray from back in those days often describe it that you kind of knew everybody. Was that the case for you?
Oh, absolutely. Once we got here and you got into the community, yeah.
Yeah. So eventually you grew up. Did you stay in Fort McMurray? Did you go away for a while?
No, I've never left. I grew up here and I'm married to my high school sweetheart.
Hugh?
Yeah.
Wow.
We dated in high school. We're still here together. And
amazing.
all our kids were born here. All our grandkids were born here.
How many kids do you have?
3 kids.
Grandkids?
4.
And do they live in the community as well?
3 of them live in the community.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Hugh, I know Hugh, but I don't know what was his work.
He worked at the oil sands, but he was born and raised here. So his dad was here for the railroad. Never worked at the plants.
He worked for the railway?
He wrote for the NAR. Yeah.
Wow. NAR is the Northern Alberta Railway?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I was recently in Thailand, and we took a train. And the train cars that we rode on were exactly like the train car that's down at the Marine Museum.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, vintage World War II.
Yeah, Hugh's dad would have worked on those, on the one that's down at the Marine Park, yeah.
It was like a flashback into the time capsule.
Yeah, so he's never lived anywhere else but here.
So you guys are just born and bred McMurrayites, and when you think of in your time, I know what it's been like in my time, which is about 20 years, but you've had many more years than that. How would you describe the change that has occurred in this community?
Well, it's grown so much. We actually preferred it when it was smaller, but with growth you get more amenities, so then you can't take that away because that's kind of nice to have too. But the difference is we used to be able to go downtown. We'd go to the mall and have lunch and know everybody that was sitting there. Today you can go down to the mall, have lunch, and know nobody that you're sitting there. It's probably the difference.
Yeah. Were you always a volunteer?
Pretty much. I volunteered a lot with the kids in school, and it just kind of went from there.
Describe some of the things you've done in the early years in terms of volunteerism.
Well, when the kids were at school, we would volunteer, like to be the lunchtime monitor for the classroom for the kids to eat their lunch, and on the parents' councils. And my kids, I had a couple in band, so band was always a big area to volunteer because we had a big band program, and volunteer parent group that was fairly active. So did that, and then I volunteered for my grandkids. I used to pick up meals at the piano to deliver to Dr. Clark when my grandson was going there. So you just just keep going.
So today, you're the president of the Golden Years Society, and you've been involved with seniors. I have no idea how old you are, but I never felt like you were a senior. You were always helping seniors.
I'm legally a senior by the government standards.
I resemble that remark too. I'm almost there. But in those early, how did you get involved? Why the passion for seniors?
Well, as I said, my husband grew up here, so his parents grew up here. And there's been a Furber in town probably for the last 75 years. So obviously I had a mother-in-law that was here, and when they used to have seniors at Heritage Park. So she kind of got me, and we need some help. Can you help us? And I think that's what got me. I ended up helping a little bit because she asked. And then as the kids got older and she got older, driving became an issue for her. So she had a good friend, Charlotte Mitchell, that lots of you guys know. Our family loves Charlotte dearly. And to get to the senior center, once it moved out of Heritage Park down to where the location is now, if you didn't drive and you lived in Waterways, it was a little harder to get to. And so I would volunteer to drive them. So I would drive them and drop them off and pick them up. And then it got to be she didn't want to ask me to do it every Wednesday because, obviously I had things to do if I was just dropping them off and coming back later. So then I started, well, I'll come in with you. I'm not that busy, to prove that she could go every Wednesday, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
The Golden Years Society Activity Center was built when?
We are celebrating our 25th anniversary of that center.
Wow.
25 years ago, February. So March 10th, we're having a little celebration at the center to celebrate not the existence of Golden Years, but the existence of our new building. Our new building is 25 years old. Golden Years has been in existence for 40 years.
And of course, the building is kind of in an area surrounded by seniors' residences. Yeah. I assume that was strategic.
I'm assuming it was before my time.
Oh, wow.
The building is situated right across the street from Legion Mariner Arabasca House, which houses seniors only. Mm-hmm. And then down the street, on the same street, is Rotary House. So, yeah, it's quite convenient for the seniors that want to walk or don't drive anymore. The ones across the street, they just walk across the street.
And I get the sense that the Golden Year Society is alive and well. Like lots of people coming
It's
out.
just booming. We have 300 and some members, and we have lunch every Wednesday. That 120, 130 people there every week for lunch.
I love it. My guest this morning is Joan Furber, who's the president of Golden Years Society, a longtime resident of the community, also a passionate volunteer on many different levels of the community over a very long stretch of time. We're going to take a break and come back with more. I want to find out a little bit more about what is happening at the Golden Years Society. You're listening to Impact. It is a team effort of United Way, Fuse Social, Shaw TV, Fort McMurray, YMM Magazine, and 91.1 The Bridge. Welcome back to Impact. My name is Russell Thomas, and my esteemed guest is Joan Furber, who's the president of Golden Years Society, and we're talking about seniors' life in Wood Buffalo. And there are seniors. I used to joke that, we have seniors in Fort McMurray. There's 3 of them. But there's a lot of seniors in our community.
Yeah, a lot more than people think.
A lot more than people think.
Yeah.
And one of the things I'm interested in is a certain number. You said you have membership in excess of 300 people. But outside of that, there's probably more.
Lots more. We tend to get our membership. We have far more women than we have men. It's usually when one or the other is left on their own, and they're just looking for friendship. So we have tons of seniors that are here as couples that maybe don't need that in their life just yet. We still have couples that go there, but a lot of them aren't. They're, I think that the other ones have other things that they can do, and they have each other to do it with.
Do you get the sense as a longtime resident that the number of older people that are choosing to stay in Fort McMurray is going up?
I would hope so, but I'm probably a hard one to judge that because being that I grew up here, we actually still have supper and play cards every week with our friends from high school. So that's probably not something that goes on with most of them. So we see them, and our friends aren't leaving. We're not leaving. So I think it depends on where your kids are, though.
You have, over the years, dedicated thousands and thousands of hours of your time to working with seniors in a multitude of different ways. What drives you? What's the motivation? What's the joy that you see in what happens with your efforts that keeps you going?
I don't know. I guess everybody likes to do something, and for me, I just found a lot of satisfaction with doing it with the seniors because they appreciate what you do. You know, like I started out several years back, I did a lot of volunteering at Rotary House because I had a good friend that lived in Rotary House. But they loved when you came in. You know, even today, when I go to the center on a Wednesday and I walk in and I'm running late and the room is packed, that's satisfaction. We must be doing something good if we can get 130 people in one room on Wednesday and they're all seniors and they're having lunch and visiting, and then lunch is over and there's 3/4 or more of that, they stay and play bingo. They love it. So it warms my heart to see that we can provide a place and some things and some activities that they can do. We must be doing something good if we can get that many people in one spot.
The truth is we're generally speaking a young community, younger than most. What is your sense of how well understood the seniors population is to the younger generation? Do they get that there are a lot of seniors and that they're very important?
I think so, because, a few years back when they took Willow Square away from us and thought we all would like to live in Parsons Creek. So some of us seniors, we took to the streets and we went out 3 times. We got 7,500 people to sign a petition saying we didn't want to be there. You wouldn't believe the young people that came up to support us. Give me that. Where's that petition? I want to sign it. Are they crazy? You know, so the young people are out there. They knew, because I would have to say most of those people that signed that petition probably weren't seniors.
You must feel pretty good that, where's some wood? Knock on wood, it's proceeding.
Yeah, we're ecstatic.
Yeah.
We fought the government and we won, and we're quite pleased with that.
Yeah.
We have no regrets. We think Willow Square is exactly the right place where we should be. And yeah, we're excited to get that hole dug this spring.
So and I'm not up on it 100%, but the first phase is the continuing care center, correct?
Absolutely, but that's what we need the most in this town.
Because right now, if you're not aware, the continuing care that we can provide is in the hospital.
Yeah.
So this will be and I watched the video fly-through thing.
Gorgeous, isn't it?
If you haven't seen that, if you're listening today, seek it out because
it's on the government website. You can just go in and take a virtual tour or whatever they call it. It's
it'll
awesome.
be a beautiful spot. So that'll be first.
Yes.
Describe the difference between that and aging in place and the connection between the two.
So that first part, and it confuses some people. We just had a speaker in this morning to explain to us the difference. The difference between what's going in first is you'll need to be not well to move in there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you need to be assessed by home care and the doctors to determine whether you qualify to move in there. So it's not just senior living. There's an issue for you to need to go in there.
Okay.
So that whole new building that they're building first, it will take care of everybody on the 4th floor, everybody that's sitting on the 3rd floor, everybody in Rotary House that really needs a lot more care that they can really help, but they're very kind in keeping them down there because their other option is out of town. And there's lots of people in their homes that have a lot of extra help and home care. They're just waiting for a place to be able to go without leaving town. All those people will move in there. So you or I, just because it's a nice new building and we'd like to live in a senior complex, that won't be where we would move.
Okay. Aging in place is the other piece.
Different. So what our goal is at some point, we want another, and there is land being left there for that to be done.
Yep.
Now we'd like to see some apartments or some kind of housing there that I just want to live there because my husband's in the other portion, and I don't want to have to come from Timberley or wherever, and in the wintertime, I want to be able to go through a hallway that would attach these two places, and I go have lunch with my husband, and then go back to my own apartment. Or I just don't want to be in a house anymore and look after it. I just want to live where there's a bunch of seniors, people my own age, things that we can do together. That would be the place. But that will come after we get what we so badly need first.
And walking distance to stores and the hospital.
The hospital's
and other
right
amenities.
there, doctors, banks, everything is there. To me, it's a perfect location.
So the continuing care center, who will be running it? Is that Alberta Health Services?
Alberta Health Services looks after you when you get to a certain stage in your life. Be no different than what they're doing in the hospital. They're just going to do it in a much nicer setting.
And when the aging in place happens, would that also be Alberta Health, or would that be municipality, or Wood Buffalo Housing, or?
We're hoping Wood Buffalo Housing.
Okay.
Because it already takes care of Legion Manor, Arabasca, Rotary House, so they know how to do it. So we would like to see them, get into something like that. And that way it'd be more affordable too if we had our own housing authority looking after it than some private enterprise that comes out. Because once you start going into private, well then they could build it, but that doesn't mean everybody can move into it, right?
Well, for the record, I am so pleased that Willow Square has finally come to fruition. It was a long battle. It shouldn't have been a battle. And it takes me back to my political life, which...
I just think they thought there wasn't enough seniors that were going to fight about it so that they could put it wherever. Me. But we proved that there are seniors in Fort McMurray, and we do have a voice. And we're willing to use it when we need to.
Absolutely do. My guest this morning, Joan Furber, a longtime volunteer and resident in the community and currently president of the Golden Years Society. We're going to take a break and come back with more of Impact right after this. Welcome back to the final segment of Impact on a Tuesday morning. Russell Thomas in the studio with Joan Furber, president of the Golden Years Society. This is that's the sort of the formal name of the organization. The building, the Golden Years Society Activity Center. But I know that you guys partner with all kinds of different community organizations to do what you do. Can you give us a couple of examples of who you work closely with?
Well, we are represented on the Council on Aging, the city, the council-appointed group. We also go to the SRC meetings, the Senior Resource Group. And
what is that?
It's just a whole bunch of people that meet once a month, and all of them work with seniors or senior-related items. So we get there, like some days Transit's there, and there's a group of seniors that are having a hard time with their using the transit and stuff like that. So we always have people there, and you can air your complaints or differences, and usually it gets taken care of, and they don't have to go to the city themselves. So if our members have issues with certain things, they let us know, and Ken and I go to those meetings, so we would bring them up, and the right person would take them in hand and see what they could do about it and fix it.
Nice.
And, so once a month, and if there's stuff going on, we relay information back and forth, and we work very closely with St. Aidan's. If we have members of ours that need help in certain things that we're not really qualified, because like you said, we're an activity center. Mm-hmm. We don't take care of personal issues or stuff like that, but we know where they can get help. So then we would send them on to St. Aidan's to get help, or, touch base with everybody. So yeah, we do. And we also do we have a volunteer income tax program that we're part of. So we have actually two of our members that do that for the seniors. So it's like low-income senior stuff like that. So that's starting to gear up again. So we'll be busy with that. McMahon, we kind of partner with them too, and so they are at the table with us at a lot of the meetings.
And you're very involved with the United Way. You get funding from them for certain things.
Oh, if we didn't have United Way funding, our doors would be closed. We have one staff that's paid, and that's with the thanks from United Way.
Yeah.
But we have a nice big building that we keep up, and I don't know, I think a lot of people think that we're paid. There's no paycheck comes to Joan. All of our stuff at the center is done by volunteers.
Fantastic.
Everything we do is by volunteers. Everybody that's on our board has to commit to a committee and make sure that section of the building or whatever they're doing is running smoothly. And Mary Lee just keeps us in line and keeps the books and does everything. But everything else is done by volunteers. So if we didn't have United Way funding, the doors would be open whenever it was convenient for the volunteers. Right.
I imagine that, like many other organizations, you have a core group of the keeners, the ones that are putting in a lot of hours. How many of those are there, do you think?
Well, we actually, I honestly can say we're getting better. We're getting more volunteers than we did. But yeah, our board is probably our keeners. So we have 14, 15 people on our board. We have a big board because we're seniors. That doesn't mean we want to be there every single month for a board meeting. We might want to go somewhere. So everybody just picks up the slack.
What's the favorite thing that you at the Golden Year Center do personally? What's your favorite thing?
My favorite thing, I love walking in late for lunch and seeing 130 people there. I just love it. It's just something we used to have potluck. It was so totally different. Now everybody comes, they're fed a really good meal. The dishes are done for them. I love it. I love to see that room packed.
Okay, how does that happen? Like who pays for the meal? Like how does that happen?
We thank United Way again. They give us we have a grant from them to do a lunch program. It doesn't cover the whole cost, but the seniors pay.
Okay.
They come in for lunch, they pay $7. They very gladly hand over their $7. They don't have to make anything. They don't have to do dishes. And the rest of the money is funded through United Way. And we have a cook. We hired a cook, and he comes in the morning, and he makes everything, and he puts it out. He cleans it up, and he cleans the kitchen, and we don't have to do anything. It's awesome on Wednesdays.
Have you had the experience spending so much time there of seeing two strangers end up connecting and becoming dear friends?
Yes, we've had lots of people. They've made best friends down there. It's awesome. Like, they'll connect and they need a ride one day because one doesn't drive and the other one drives, and then all of a sudden the one is picking up the other fellow all the time to go. Yeah, it's awesome. People have made really good friends down there.
Couple romances spark up?
Oh, even that. Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. So what's ahead for the Golden Year Society? What's coming up for the rest of 2018 that you'd like to share?
Well, we're trying to get something so there's something going on there every day.
Yeah.
So yesterday we started floor curling. And we must have had 20 people or 25 people all fighting for the floor to be. So we're going to put out challenges here in the next little while. Once we get better at what we're doing, we're going to challenge some to come in and floor curl with us.
I took that challenge for that other thing, that lawn bowling thing.
Oh,
did I
bocce,
suck?
Yeah, well, they're just very serious with their bocce. We have a bocce court out front, which we do in the summertime. So now we're doing floor curling and floor shuffleboard inside. We have a good craft group. They do crafts. We make quilts. We have a really big bazaar in November, so they're always looking for different. And we've been doing this since Christmas. We've had a couple paint nights.
I was going to ask, when are you going to have me in for a paint night?
We might be getting old, but, we want to do the thing like the young people. They go to the bar, they have their wine, their cheese, and they paint. We just don't want to do it in the bar. Yeah. So we do our wine, our cheese, and we paint. And we'd love to have you come teach us how to paint something.
I love nothing more than to paint with you guys. I love the center. It's
I'm an awesome artist, apparently. I brought home this picture, and my kids thought it was just great.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we've done a couple of them, and they are a sellout. Like, bang, they're full.
I love it.
So we're getting to do a lot more things than we used to do. We're getting to be much more active. We're becoming a real activity center.
You know what I love? Heather and I were walking when it was no snow, and we were walking by the Golden Years, and they were playing lawn bowling. And they invited us on up, and we played a round or two. It was fantastic. So I love that. Yeah. We weren't necessarily members, not quite old enough yet.
But I'd love to have a challenge with anybody.
It's a community.
Yeah, it is, yeah. And actually, we're going to have Heather come and do some meditation with us here in the next little while. We're just in the final stages of getting that all worked out. So
I love it.
Yeah, we do all kinds of things.
Are there opportunities for young people to somehow come in and engage with seniors in an informal way? How does that go?
It is, but it's much easier for them to go like to long-term care and Rotary House because they have programs that are run by a specific person. So our programs, not that we don't like people to come, but our programs are run by we want it, we have to do it kind of thing. Now we did have just last month, we had some school come and each one of them took a senior and they sat across from each other and they painted each other.
Oh, it
went over really well. Yeah. So we are open to certain things, like we just need to, a lot of people want to just do some volunteering and they think this is the place to do it. We need, like when they did with the kids, they each painted, something specific so that you can get the senior engaged too.
Yeah.
Because that's what they go there to be engaged, right? So we do our coffee time every Friday. We have coffee time. There was probably 30 people there this morning. And once a month, we have a guest speaker, and it's usually on a topic that's seniors related. Like today, it was Denise Wilkinson from Long-Term Care to explain the new building and all that, which was really good. Lots of people, lots of questions. We don't like to do it every Friday where we have a speaker because they love to just go and visit and have coffee. And that's a big part of what we want to do. We want the friendship and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, we do. There is options, and I can on the Friday for a group to come in if they have a special knack or thing they can do with the seniors. We just encourage them to call Mary Lee at the office, and she books it. We don't like to have too much at one time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Joan Furber has been my guest this morning, and I just want to publicly say thank you. I don't know if you get thanked enough, but I know for a fact that you have given thousands of hours to this community and your passion as well. And because of your efforts and the efforts of the people that were with you, we've got that continuing care facility coming up in Willow Square. You should be very proud of that.
We are. That's kind of like a feather in our hat, and we're okay with that. We're quite proud of getting it back to where it should be.
Love it. Keep it up. Joan Furber, the president of Golden Year Society, and you've been listening to Impact. It is a team effort. A lot of people come together to make this possible. The United Way, Fuse Social, Shaw TV, Fort McMurray, who are here with their cameras today, YMM Magazine, who allow us to do an Impact column every edition. And of course, none of it would be possible without our friends here at 91.1 The Bridge.